If you were to advise a Gen X woman who says, my parents have a lot of money that's going to come to me, what advice would you give her?
Well, first I would say watch your podcast.
Nobody's sitting down with women and telling them the truth like you're telling them.
I want to give a quick shout out to my podcast manager, Abby. If you're in need of help in launching and managing your own show, please reach out to her at productions@abbygwaki.com. I'll put her details in the show notes. She really is the best, and I love her.
Hello, and welcome back to the Quiet Wealth Podcast. I'm your host, Camilla, and I'm super excited that I have two guests here with me today. I have Puja and Avneet, and they have launched Kaur Family Office Group. And I met them when I went to their event in LA. And it was so fantastic to go and learn from these amazing women. So Puja and Avneet, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Camilla. We appreciate you having us on your show.
It's been amazing to get to know you and your mission.
Yeah. So for the listener, if you are new here, welcome. I'm so excited that you're here. We help women in their 40s and 50s do three things: build wealth, build businesses, and leave a legacy. And we are doing that in multiple ways. And I'm excited. First off, Puja, tell me your story. How did you get to where you are today?
It wasn't easy. We bootstrapped our way through the past 6 years to get to where we are today. We met 6 years ago. I just got licensed in insurance, and I was trying to build my practice and see if that's where I wanted to go or not. And Avneet at that time was looking for a solution for her daughters. She has two little girls. And she went the whole route of taking a look at the 529 plan for college planning, but hated it because she's already from Wall Street. She didn't want to go back into that. So then her dad told her, talk to Puja. She can give you some solutions. So she came to the office. We started having a conversation. She was telling me about her story, how she went through the whole Wall Street crash. And then I was telling her my story, how I went through the same thing, but through Bank of America. So we got all the bad loans, and we're just sitting and talking. The conversation just kept on going and going and going, and people are passing by, and everyone's curious. They're like, are you guys sisters? You guys are chatting so much and you're completing each other's sentences. I'm like, no, I just met her, and no, I'm not completing her sentence. And she said it at the same time.
We were noisemakers then, and we're
still noisemakers,
right? So we just show up to an office. In fact, today the office is empty, but when we show up, everybody knows we're here. And I don't know why that happens, but we have this interesting synergy together.
Yes.
And I always say this, like I proposed to her,
Mhm.
and I take that liberty of saying that because I literally said, Puja, we should be in business together, because what we're trying to do is create this financial transparency from the dollars that you earn to dollars that you spend, and then also planning for your kids.
Yeah.
And there's no one-stop shop service for this. And I just went to Chase and had a, interesting experience there. And I already had a crappy experience at Lehman. And, you already had a crappy experience at BofA. So it's like, where do we really go for a non-crappy experience? Like, who would be the right person for this?
And we thought we would be the right people for that experience. So she said, yeah, let's open up our own business. And I said, okay, done. So I quit my job and
literally calls me and said, I quit my full-time job. And I'm
yeah,
we're just starting, right? Like, I promise zero revenue, right? Like, I don't have a client, just in the background.
exactly.
Plus, our model was that we're going to create a one-stop shop where you could do real estate, insurance, investment advisory,
Business advisory,
thank you,
tax advisory.
everything in one spot, and then also make sure that it's structured correctly so it gets to your kids in case something happens to you. And that is very personal still till today.
Very, very
So
personal.
6 years ago, we started having that conversation, and
we still have that same conversation.
it's just the two of us in the business, and everybody else is either a partnership or
An affiliate.
or a vendor or, some kind of a referral source. But this has all been organic.
We started with what, 2,500 each in the bank account?
That was the investment.
That was our investment.
Yeah.
And now we are surpassing six figures and going to seven figures now.
God willing, we will be there. And this is, I would say, a legacy story of our own.
Yes.
Our kids are watching this. So it's truly, I would say, a blessing to go through the journey.
Wow, that's so amazing. Okay, so back up before you met. One of you said you worked on Wall Street, right? So what were you doing before you met?
I was an Indian Army kid. So my dad's military, literally, we're 3 generations military from India. And my dad decided that he's going to take an early retirement and will decide to travel the world, and found Los Angeles to be the perfect spot. And he compared it to New York, London, no offense, Germany was in there, even Miami showed up, but he picked Los Angeles, and thank God for that. We ended up here. I went to UCLA, and then Lehman scooped me up because I was naive and stupid and didn't realize that Wall Street is meant to chew you up and spit you out by the time you're 32. And around 27 in 2006, 2007, when all of this fun stuff in Wall Street was going down, I was just feeling restless. I would say cash wasn't solving the problem anymore. And the problem was deeper than just cash. So that's when I realized, okay, wait, I might be making 6 figures at the W-2, but I am not happy. And I quit. And I came back to LA and I joined my dad's real estate brokerage. He's still a lender. We still use him and his brokerage for a lot of private lending that we do. Yeah. So he's still around. So I came home to my parents and I was like, I got to find a deeper connection of what I really want to do while I do real estate deals and transactions, which is just a family business. And I met her during that in discovery, I would say. And in that phase, I got married, I got little girls, and I was still saying, transactions are great. They feed me and my family, but it doesn't connect me deeper with that person that I really enjoy the transaction with. And I think that would be a longer relationship. So why just real estate transaction? Why not this and that and this and that? And I could get licensed in it all. And in that process, I found her.
And I had came from Bank of America. Same experience, obviously, in a different route. We got all the bad countrywide loans from that 2008 crash. So same experience, right? Too much stress, too much depression, hearing everyone crying about all the money they lost and they're losing their business or they're losing their houses. It was just too much. It was just heart-wrenching and couldn't handle it. And I wondered what would happen if I was in their boat and how would I deal with it? And luckily enough, thank God, we didn't have to go through that much of a damage that most people went through. We saved enough money. We started creating our own legacy. I was a first generation family office where Avneet is a second generation family office. And we were still having that struggle of who do I talk to? Who is going to give me the right information? Because every person that I was hitting up to have a conversation with on how I should move forward and really secure myself and my family, I was getting different answers for every single thing. And it's because of the fact that you're not that $200 million person. You're not getting that expertise advice because you don't fall under that category. Yes, you have wealth, but not enough wealth that you should be looked at a certain level. And then she was having that same exact issue, right? So when we got together and we put our licenses together and said, you know what? Forget everyone else. We're going to learn every single aspect when it comes to your financial decisions. So we got licensed in life insurance. We got licensed in real estate. Advisory and business structuring just came along with these two packages as it was. We got our own registered investment advisory firm. And then we added tax advisory because when you look at a person, you look at them holistically and you're trying to figure out what is the right route for them. You first need to look at their taxes and see what's going on with their taxes. Why are they paying so much taxes? What is going on in their situation? Are they set up correctly or not? How do you move that legacy forward if you cannot figure out why taxes are being paid all the time? That focus, I think, is the foundation of what Core Family Office is.
So I think we're still growing.
We are,
because
absolutely,
now
100%.
We're stepped into the venture world. Businesses are contacting us and saying, hey, buy my business. And we're getting investors saying, how do I invest with you or in you or what can I do? And we've been very guarded, rightly so, because we don't know what we're doing. It's brand new. So we're just taking baby steps and discovering each aspect of this new world, which is come at us as a result of creating a service-based family office.
Rather than a family office that focuses just solely on investments. When you look at a family office, and most family office structures are based off of an RIA, which is a registered investment advisory firm, they're looking at your assets under management. They only want to work with you if you're bringing in a lot of money to that firm. You're saying, hey, I have this much money. Now go help me figure out what to do with this money.
Yeah.
But most advisors are only looking at that one aspect of your whole life.
So it's very popular now to be called a family office and attach a few more services to yourself. Take on the client's bill pay or daily accounting needs or things like that. So it's becoming more and more popular for these registered investment advisory firms to say, oh, I'm losing out on this service for no reason, so I'm just going to add it on. So the big boys are doing it. In fact, even JP Morgan is doing it.
Bank of America is doing it
They're
right
trying
now too.
About $2
$2
million
million.
is their minimum fee on the clients that they have. So they're not looking at anyone under $200 million, of course.
And then we realized very quickly, because we fall under that middle market category, that there's a lot of us out there that really don't have right guidance.
Yeah,
And they're
they're
not
not accidental millionaires.
accidental
Because
millionaires.
these new exiters, these new founders,
They all
New
came through during
millionaires.
COVID.
Yeah.
Well, these people popped out during COVID, and literally they either lost their CPA, they lost their advisor because of COVID, they lost a lot of their ecosystem and don't know what to do. And when they go to Chase, when they go to Bank of America or any other institution that is bigger than they are, is now saying, well, I can't really service you because you don't fall under the category that we have.
yeah. And
So then where do these people go? So that's why we created Core Family Offices, to actually service that middle market, to really show them that, yes, you can be a family office. We can create your ecosystem for you. We can create your legacy for you. We're here for you.
I would actually even forget the word middle market. I hate that word for some reason. I just feel like icky when I hear it. What I really would call them are the economy drivers. These guys are driving the economy the fastest because they are out there investing, reinvesting, growing, and they want to become that $200-300 million office, right? So in fact, a $200-300 million office doesn't make as many and as frequent investments as these guys. So I call them economy because and they need the most amount of service because they're out there doing 500 things at one time. They don't have a base to land on. So that's what we started providing with Core Family Office so literally our tagline is becoming, we're a family office for today's entrepreneur, because today's entrepreneur has 20 things in one category and then their kids have another 20 things. Like we know this one family that in itself would be 100 deals if we started counting transactions, because they are 500 of them and they've been here for some generations. So that's why legacy is important. Long-term thinking is important. I think women are geared this way, just naturally, to think about what's going to happen next. And they're like 20 steps ahead of you.
Socially, women are the ones that usually stay at home. They're not the breadwinners. They're the homemakers, right? So when they get the inheritance, they really don't know what to do with this inheritance, because they've never been trained or they've never asked the right question on how am I supposed to build my legacy now that the man of the family is gone? What do I do next, right?
And a lot of divorcees fall in this category too. They're going through their older advisors that are still favoring the husbands. These are just a mix of our clients that we've helped.
And now, there's going to be, I don't know how many women that are going to be inheriting a lot of money.
And this much asset is now going to 51% of the world, which is now just women. And
they do not, again, they're in that boat where they do not know who to talk to, because they're going to go talk to an advisor who happens to be a man, who is going to tell them you're not doing it right, or is going to talk to them in a tone that they're not going to like, and they can't relate to that person.
This might be a personal story.
I've heard it actually from a client. So we had one client who had this exact issue happen, that the parents' advisors, when they passed and the daughter inherited everything, the advisors did not look at her seriously enough and always put her, information or her suggestions down, thinking that she doesn't know anything because she was never a part of anything.
No decision making.
What happens then? Either the money is going to get lost, it's going to go into the wrong direction.
Fear also overtakes women. And because we are so much, I would say, paralyzed by the concept of what we don't know. That's why when Puja and I got licensed, I was like, I don't want any gap between our licensing and the government. I mean, the person who's making the law needs to tell me the boundaries I can take or what is my duty to my client. And I will only take that seriously. Nobody else I will take seriously. So every license we have, our boss is a state government, FINRA, SEC. They tell us what to do. We follow the letter, right? It's to the T. And if you can't have that kind of transparency with your dollars, then you should change your advisors, right? So in fact, we have a couple of nonprofits that are already run by women that we're going to be announcing very soon that we're going to be board members of. And that's exactly this, women driven to educate each other in financial life cycles and then how to actually move your life forward. Like if you suffered a damage, like a loss of a loved one or a new life with a new marriage, or how to protect yourself from the last one. Like these types of things, nobody tells you, you know?
Mhm.
In fact, a very that we spoke to that we can't even name right now said that they lost so much in their divorce. That was not even theirs. It was their ancestral stuff. It was like, how did you not know how to protect yourself from that? He's like, oh, I didn't.
Nobody told me.
Nobody told me.
Well, and that was one of the things that was super fascinating when I went to your event, because we were talking about this exchange of wealth that's coming down, right? So the silver tsunami, it's happening. You know, boomers are, they have done well for themselves and they have a lot of wealth that's going to be transferred. And it's interesting that women are going to be the ones who are inheriting a lot more than in previous generations. And so that's another reason, right? So I'm Gen X, which is the next generation after the boomers. And that's one of the reasons that I'm super passionate about educating other Gen X women, is because they're going to be the ones that will be receiving this, and they need to know how to manage it, and they need to know what their options are. They need to feel informed. They need to not feel afraid to be, go after some more interesting investments. So they need to feel empowered to do that rather than, afraid. And so could you talk a little bit more about this transfer of wealth, and what are some steps if you were to advise a Gen X woman who says, hey, my parents have a lot of money that's going to come to me. I need some advice. What advice would you give her?
Well, first I would say watch your podcast. You are providing a lot of good information to women, and you're getting it for free, and you're liking that.
Nobody's sitting down with women and telling them the truth like you're telling them. Mm-hmm. Very much appreciated.
The other thing would be, I would say that they should get their own trust.
Yeah.
That would be the first thing I would tell them, is definitely make sure you have a trust in your name, because you don't want the inheritance to come into your name. You want it to come into your trust, because you don't want to get those hit with all the taxes that are going to be coming your way because you're getting all this inheritance.
I would even say don't include your family in it.
No.
Do not include anybody in it. If your husband gets offended, whatever, it doesn't matter. Talk to an attorney first, because in the end of the day, how you inherit your inheritance is your problem. And that's the first step of even understanding and taking control of your investments. 90% of the women that I see in a trust will bring their husbands in, lose all the control of their own inheritance.
Exactly. So, the other would be definitely have life insurance on yourself, permanent life insurance. Protect yourself, one. And two, to protect your trust as well.
If your trust is not millions of dollars that you're inheriting, as much cash as you can take from your parents in your life insurance, take it, right? Take it in the form of an annuity. Take it in a form of a fixed guaranteed product that is restricted and is so tight that nobody else can touch it. So an annuity, for example, versus a life insurance, nobody can touch, not even the IRS. Not even your divorce, not even the ex, whatever doesn't matter. No one can touch it. It's
predators, doesn't matter.
Every category of horrifying person
you can think of. It's protecting you in every aspect whatsoever.
And no one can see it.
Exactly.
I love it.
Because it's not an asset.
Yeah. So, but an annuity in conjunction is an asset, right? So if you have that condition, because a lot of women will not speak up, but are in that condition where they want financial control, but cannot take it and are about to inherit. So I would recommend make a tool like a permanent fixed life insurance with a 200-year-old company. Make a choice. Just don't make sure it's not New York Life. No offense. They're very expensive, but you'll find other stuff. Yeah, I know they're going to hate it, but whatever. Yeah. But it's the truth, right? So I want to be honest. Get money funded to your life insurance. That is the number one thing. No one can touch it. No one can see it. No one can feel it. It doesn't have to be reported on your taxes. It's quiet transfer. So if you're under $1 million, I would consider that as a real option.
Yeah, that's a gift that your parents are giving.
Especially if you're in your 40s, right? Your 40s, 50s, you're a young woman. This is the cheapest your life insurance will ever be.
Take it.
Take it. Yeah, this would be, I would call it the last stop, right? Because then we get super expensive.
Then we get very, very expensive after 50.
Yeah, we hit menopause and boom, insurance companies don't like it.
Not crazy. We're just going to reinvent who we are, right?
Exactly.
Somebody new.
Yeah. That's our specialty.
That's right. Right. So I have a wealth academy where I teach this, and we call it Prime Time Wealth Academy because you're in your prime now, right? Like
Right.
in your 40s, 50s, kids are leaving the house, and now you're like free to do what you want, and you have money and you have time and you still have a lot of smarts and knowledge. And so let's go and build that
Absolutely.
legacy.
And
right?
that is, what do you want, right? When you're saying like, do whatever you want, what is it that you really want to do? It will change because the stages of the cycle of your life, as you grow older, your priorities change, your interests change, your hobbies change. The aspect of what really makes you happy, that also changes
Your
also.
happiness is actually going to be different in your 40s than it was in your 20s, believe it or not.
For sure.
Pride in it doesn't work.
So, wanting to party, you want to spend money like crazy. In your 40s, you want to get into that
You're
same.
wiser. Yeah.
You're wiser. You're like, okay, I don't want to party and stay up till 2, 3 in the morning because I can't wake up the next day and do what I need to do. So I'm not going to go ahead and do that anymore. But the thing is like, try to understand yourself, right? And make sure it's you. You're understanding yourself. You're not letting anyone else tell you what you should do and what you should feel and what should be good for you, and the aspect of what do I want, right?
Yeah, money wise, that's really important. And
Very, very important.
just FYI for women in their 40s and 50s, here are some insurance terms. Women will outlive most of the men, and not just by a few years, probably by a couple of decades. And that is a real fact, believe it or not. So the men, their life insurance, how the data suggests is that they're not outliving women past 70, 77 at the max.
80 max.
Women
nowadays.
are outliving in their 90s right now. Current data, we're predicted as women to hit 120 in the current life cycle.
Whoa.
120-year-old people, that will become a norm. That will be most of our generation. So if you think retirement is 65, you better understand.
You better be ready that you better have a lot of money in your bank account to live your lifestyle. Because
That's only midlife.
Now that's the true midlife, right?
Exactly.
Now that's
Wow.
So yeah, not only are our problems different from our parents, our men are not going to be around just according to the facts and the data to protect us. And our kids will be having their own grandparent problems because we'll be 120 years old. So that means our kids are senior citizens, right?
Are going to be taking care of us.
Who's going to take care of whom? Our system is not set up that way. And so we want all the women to be set up in a financial, in 40s to 50s is just the beginning. Like you said, is just the beginning to figure out where you see yourself. And if you see, okay, I need $120,000 of income to spend in my today's life to be a comfortable person, then consider that when you're older, like 60 years from now, if you're 120 years old, that you're going to need double the money thanks to inflation. And where's this money coming from?
Inflation, medical, all of that stuff. You need more money for sure.
We don't want people to just jump out of their seats and go buy long-term disability. None of
that works.
None of that works. Don't buy any short-term tools that only work for a few years. Don't do that. Those are called accidental protections. You don't need that stuff. You just scrap all the nonsense, no disability insurance, no long-term, whatever.
Everything is covered through your life insurance policy.
Yeah.
Now, the life insurance policies have changed so much and evolved so much that it covers pretty much anything that you can think of.
You can cover all of this stuff in that now. And on top of that, so business owner women, right? So the women that are in partnerships with their husbands will be most likely 75% chances that they will outlive their husbands in that business.
And they'll be taking care of that business by themselves.
So do you know enough, right? What's happening with you? Does everybody have a category or a job function? Is this business sellable? Right? So these types of evaluation of the business, like the wife should be aware of all this stuff. Not only that, we're watching a $50 million family with real estate, live business, adult kids, with teenage succession, and they are going through this live. And this is just the beginning of that silver tsunami. So
and this is the daughters that are just inheriting that 50 million.
Yeah.
And they don't know
what to do with it.
Because the father did not include them in all the discussion, in what is going to be left for them, how it's going to be distributed to them. So all of this stuff needs to be, that conversation needs to happen, right? You need to be talking to your parents, especially if you know you have elder parents that might be passing anytime soon. You want to have this discussion with them and be like, hey, what are you giving me? I want to make sure that you guys are protected for sure,
Yeah.
but I want to make sure I'm protected as well. Do I need to set up something for myself to make sure that whatever you're transferring over to me is going to come over the right
When
way?
it comes to me.
Yeah,
Right. So
exactly.
that's
You don't want to go to probate.
we can talk about that event again. We talked about probate, right? So we said just in California, 6 point something billion dollars are in probate, in cash, in real estate, in gold. It's like unnecessarily wastage of wealth. And now we have how many homeless people on the street? I can't even tell you. Like if the probate just like helped the homeless people, like the problem would solve the problem, right? But
And a lot of these, it happens from immigrant families too, because they don't know that they need a trust. In their countries, like in India, right? They usually only have will. They don't have a trust. So when they come here, they think it's the same concept. So they'll write up a will, but they'll never attach it to a trust, or they'll set up a trust, but not attach the assets to the trust.
That's a huge problem, actually. So a lot of families think that once they've made a trust, they don't need to update it, but you have to update it with the most recent amounts that you have in your bank accounts, from your savings accounts, from whatever is going on. You want to make sure that, the trust is alive, like it's a live entity.
How often do you suggest updating a trust?
I would say every 5 years, because your life cycle changes every 5 years.
Or if you start either adding on too many assets or reducing assets, whatever changes are going to be coming into your life, you want to make sure that you're looking at that trust and making sure that it's been updated based off of what's going on in your life right now.
Yeah. And
sometimes it might be every single year. Sometimes it might be every 5 years.
I would even say women who are running into this accidental wealth might also be very charitable. So a huge solution to a lot of tax issues is a private foundation where they get to do both. They get to do a little bit of investment to make sure the foundation is functional and healthy. And they also get to donate to their cause and globally, right? Doesn't matter who it is. So for women, I think it's a wonderful tool. And then a foundation is such a thing where you can also bring in your kids. So you can bring in your kids and have them on payroll and even pass your legacy on through
the foundation.
Yeah, like Melinda Gates, Bill Gates, what do you think they're doing? I know it gives them a big tax deduction, but the point is that they want to be charitable, and you may or may not agree with their charities, but they're doing it, right? So we use the same blueprint and we just scale it to the person that we're working.
I mean, we're using the blueprint from the Rockefellers still. And we're advising our clients based off of what the Rockefellers did.
I would say, let's go back into what you had asked first when you said, what is a family office? A family office is meant to be a group of advisors that work for you. And the concept comes from the royal families that have been around for centuries, right? The idea is that I am the breadwinner of this family. Every dollar spent from this pot of gold that we have has to be accounted for. That's all there is. There's no rocket science behind it. And every scale, every level of a family needs it. When you really take the model and detach it, it's literally the same thing: tax, real estate, insurance.
Hey, I want to go back to the topic of giving for a minute, because I actually have been thinking about wealth in a different way, and in such that this concept of what if you could give $1 million in your lifetime, right? While you are still alive, not even wait till you die, and what would you need to have in place, and what would you need to do in order to give $1 million? So if a client came to you and said, my goal is to be able to give $1 million in my lifetime, but say they only had a net worth of maybe 5 million right now, how would you advise that person?
Honestly, a foundation.
Yeah.
Because the foundation is
good solution, multiple
solutions off of that. Because one, you can build your legacy off of a foundation. You can do the charitable things that you want to do to the charities that you want to contribute to. Nobody's telling you who you can contribute to and who you cannot contribute to. Third is you're be able to put your own family on payroll through that foundation and build their legacy through that foundation, as well as your own legacy through that foundation. And then on top of it, you buy investments through that.
Yeah, and it's a tax deduction of it all. It's a tax deduction. So say, for example, a $5 million family, for example, might be paying a few $100,000 in just taxes, because that's very common in California. And $5 million hits that category, all the numbers, where you probably are paying six figures in taxes. I would just redirect those dollars
into your foundation.
Foundation, especially if you're charitable. And honestly, it's a simple fix. You could just go to your CPA and tell them what to do. And if they don't listen to you, just come to us.
We have a full team that is boots on ground.
Yeah.
And we'll help you set up the foundation. They'll help you run the foundation.
Yeah.
properly.
Suppose like you have the dollars to spend, but you don't have the capacity on ground to spend it. That's what she means by it's on the ground. Like Melinda Gates, for example, like going back to that example, and Oprah, for example, they're not actually doing the work on ground. So we have a team on ground as well.
One person that we go to for foundations all the time. She's
Yeah.
fabulous. She can help you out with anything that you need to do when it comes to a foundation. She's a one-stop shop for foundation.
We're actually going to end up on her board. She just proposed.
Yes.
We're going to accept. It's one of those things where how many ways can we give back? Any which way where we can give back is amazing. And giving $1 million from a $5 million pot it's the perfect scenario. It's like if you can't give a dime out of $1, you're never going to give $1 million from a 5 million. So let's start with a dime and start there. And then once
build it up,
yeah,
and then you'll get to that $1 million.
and for 6-figure person who's paying taxes,
I'll come very fast.
that'll be what 10 years, and you already gave back $1 million.
Yep.
And
Yep.
that $1 million, by the way, was going to go to the government. So you just redirected it and did the work yourself.
Wow. Well, that is an amazing solution. I'm very excited about that. Thank you for
It's a good one. I think it's a good thing.
On the podcast, we talk about 3 things. We talk about investing, building a business, and leaving a legacy. So obviously a family office can leave a legacy, but I want to talk about just one more quick question on investments, and then we'll move on to business building. So investments, you're both registered investment advisors right now. So what types of investments are you seeing, alternative investments outside the stock market, are you seeing that are really good bets today?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yes,
100%.
we see
oil and gas. There's opportunity zone. There's DSTs. People go into conservation easements. You name it, it's out there.
Risk appetite thing. So as a registered investment advisor, what is my fiduciary duty? My fiduciary duty is that the client knows what they're getting into. So it shouldn't be where, oh, I can show you alternative investments and all of them are great for you. It's usually my client has this much risk appetite and only these many things are good for them. What might be good for you might not be a good fit for me, even though we make the same income. It's like sharing prescriptions, right? So it's like, you don't want to do that. My brother thinks crypto is a great investment and I can't digest that pill, period, and it's just,
And I like that pill.
yeah. And so it's like, we're cut from the same cloth, but we're different people. So don't share your prescriptions. Yeah. And I would really definitely say that in the end of the day, like your gut feeling in your investment is number one. So I, as an investment advisor, will definitely always ask, what is your gut feeling? And then in the alternative space, all these people that we're talking to and, are presenting these alternative spaces, we are direct on with the operators. So when we talk to somebody, we're not repackaging like a BlackRock deal and selling it to somebody. And then there's like layers of fees. In the alternative space, you have to be careful of fees. Lots of scams. So on our registered investment advisory side, which is called Core Investment Capital, we actually only have 4 401k startup plans, and it's a problem solution for entrepreneurs that have multiple businesses. So we don't hold money management personally, and we will outsource it to your own advisors, but we'll make sure that it's done correctly for you. So our registered investment advisory arm, which blows people's mind, we don't even utilize it until the client asks for it. And 99% of family offices
lead with it.
Only lead with this, right? So about the question. So they only lead with the registered investment advisory space. But we're flipping it on its head and saying, no, let's lead from the tax space, right? We start with the tax. And then these are all products. In the registered investment side, these are all products. But the products are they're like vitamins, right? So it's like, yeah, all vitamins are great for you if you know what your goals are,
Yeah.
I can't take 500 pills. So let's talk about
And then suitability is very, very big, especially for us. We want to make sure that our clients are comfortable with what they're getting into, even though they might say, oh my God, I want to get into oil and gas.
Yeah.
I'm like, hello, hold on. You want to get into oil and gas, which is a high risk product, and you could lose all your money in there. No. It doesn't work for you.
So alternative space is awesome. And we see everything on the desk for qualified investors. We're looking at mushroom farming in Oregon. We're looking at hotel developments. We're looking at global oil deals as well as local in the US, where local is pretty much 50 states. And so we have very, very diverse desks for qualified investors. And like I was saying, we work with operators directly. So we try to
We get the middleman out.
We keep the big institutions to themselves where they can fend for themselves. They don't need to go through me.
Exactly.
So they can organically, right?
Exactly.
So for my clients, I'm very protective. They don't even see registered investments unless we've qualified them 100 ways through. And all of our other licenses are utilized a lot more than our registered investment advisory license. It also seems to be a leading question for that side of the world where people ask us like, oh, so what do you charge? And we're like, we don't even offer this.
We don't even offer it
So other registered investment advisors want to work with us
because they want the AUM.
So we're okay with that. We're very collaborative. Not every deal has to go through us.
Right.
That's why we have so many partnerships and affiliates and people we work with. And all our work has been organic growth and awesome people like you that talk to us.
And we
keeps us busy. Right?
not just build relationships. It's not the transaction that makes us excited, gives us the excitement, right? It's the actual building of that family trust that we do. And that it's not only going to be that one person that we're going to work with, we're going to work with their kids and maybe the kids after that.
We're definitely the glue in the family.
Oh, yeah.
So call us between business partners and between families and generations. We're definitely the glue. I call it the SWAT team service. Like we come in, we solve that problem, and then we're done. So we're like, okay, cool. We'll see you later. You know, if the next problem shows up, you think about us.
And then if they want to be educated, that we do that a lot. We'll actually have the whole family come in. We'll educate the whole family on what is going on with the family, what their trust looks like, what they don't have, what they need, what they should have, how the succession should go to the next person, and how to educate that next generation also.
So family office definitely is a mandate situation where if you're the patriarch, right, say the person built this business is not there anymore, the next in line needs to know what to do, how to do it, where everything is, and then also already have a system for the next generation and next in line. That is a huge part of family office.
And we help create that blueprint for the family.
We call it the governance. She coined it, but whatever. It's the governance of how a family office should run.
I just like the blueprint better.
Right, whatever. One of these. Fancy words. I just call it an ecosystem because everything has to belong together, otherwise it doesn't work. So
that's so great. Okay, so now the second pillar is business building. So talk to me a little bit about women building their own businesses. I know you work with a lot of entrepreneurs. So what are you seeing is helping women have success with a business?
Well, one thing I think it's finding out what they like, because a lot of women are, oh, I love to bake. Okay, then why don't you turn that into a business? What's stopping you? Or I want to get into real estate. I don't know how to flip, or I want to buy my first investment property. How do I structure this? When they come to us with these type of questions or these type of, what if or what should I do? That's the first thing we ask. What do you like?
The soul searching part of the business is very important, right? In my eyes, being a business owner is terrible. It's very difficult. It's very, very hard. Listen to Elon Musk. He will tell you that sleeping in an office is a real thing. Like when you have your own business, it's like having a baby that is growing up very slowly
and drains the heck out of you.
Yeah. So imagine those 6 months of your baby time and now double it by like 5 years. So it's like, okay, great. Now for the first 5 years, you need to be aware of this baby and what it's doing. So it's very hectic. If you're not driven by something, you will give up. So the small business data looks like, okay, 80% of businesses close the first 5 years. What are the 20 that are remaining? We have to study that data and understand. So, what is the problem you're solving is a good question.
Passion driven.
Right? It definitely has to have some passion and the problem solved has to be real, right? So it's like, because you think it's a good idea, that's awesome that you think it's a good idea. Now go test the market and see if it's a really good idea. Right. So go do free work if you have to. We noticed that in the beginning, a lot of people have like very high expectations of, oh, but I'm worth this much because I've worked here and this is what I was being paid. That adjustment of reality is also very harsh for women. And for women, I would always say it's even harder to break into business. So if you have a support system, it's great. I would say having a co-founder like Puja has only helped me, go through my daily life when I have like horrible things happen to me. I have an ecosystem of a person I depend on. And it's like, okay, you at least got the baby. Okay, cool. So now I can go focus on other stuff, right? Those types of relationships are important. Sometimes those are your payroll employees. Sometimes they're your business partners.
Sometimes they're your family.
Sometimes they're your family. Yeah, it depends on your own, right? And so these are the important first 5 years are very tough. And I also think about, when your business starts to run, who you bring into the business is a very delicate thing to do. Partnerships are such that you should have good contracts in place. A lot of women don't do that. You should also have a conversation of expectations with each other. And what are your expectations from this business? And then I always say that it's a wise idea to put a little bit of money away in case you don't make it in the first 1 year. What's your backup plan? Right? So have a runway. And a lot of people say that runway can only be 3 months or 6 months. I'm like,
No, needs to
1
be at
year.
least a year.
1 year that you don't have to worry about where and how my lights are turning on.
Exactly.
Okay. If your lights are on and you know, okay, I can run this business for 1 year with this much capital. This is something I can be comfortable with. Now you do it. For us, it was $2,500. I mean, I was like, no, I got zero money to put in this. And the $2,500 went exactly to education.
Yep.
Right. Because I was like, no, I already know what I'm doing. I already had very high standards for myself. I had all the problems I'm highlighting for you. Like all of these expectations were a hard.
Oh yeah,
me,
trust.
right?
When we bootstrapped our way literally through everything.
Yeah.
We did not take payroll.
Yeah.
We didn't
What
take any
payroll?
salary
Yeah.
for the first, I think, 3 years. We took nothing.
And even
Everything was going back into the business.
And the thing is, even when we had the runway just became longer and longer. So that's what we started doing, is invest back into your business is very important.
Oh yeah.
Understand that, spending money is easy, but earning money is very, very difficult,
hard.
right? So you have to understand, how can I make that earning money easy? Like, so a lot of your people might already get that pot of easy. And now it's like, Shana, what do I do with it? So it's like, okay, first, protection, right? Number one is protection.
Yes.
Oh wait.
Once you protect it, then you talk about, okay, what are my options? And in that options phase is a lot of research. So I would definitely do a lot of runway work research before you get into a business and say, yeah, I'm a business owner. I've been thinking about this business since I got married, which was like 2010. And in 2017, I found her. And this has been building in my head. And I was doing free work for 6-7 years for other people on other projects where I could have been paid for easily. And I could have claimed it. And honestly, I was pissed that I was not getting paid. I was very upset. Because how dare I, I was like, UCLA grad and I had so much experience in Wall Street, blah, blah. I didn't get paid for it. It's okay. As soon as the light bulb went off with her, I knew it was a perfect time. And I took that leap. But, don't think that there's a timeline.
There's nothing such as, oh, it is the perfect time.
Yeah.
It's basically, if you see an opportunity, take the opportunity.
100%. If you have a 1 year runway and you have a pot of gold backing you up, like literally I call it the BHAG, right? It's a part of a lot of amazing books that we've been reading and YouTubing, of course. So I would say use YouTube, use Bard, use all the AI technologies to summarize as many smart books as you can in business.
Not only summarize the books in business, but also get ideas. Like, what should I do, right? What can be an easy fix for me to get into a business that does not require a lot of capital? How can I start my business that way?
Yeah, bootstrapping, I guess that's the key, right? Is that how can I get in for cheap? So we started a financial business with 3 licenses, and we had put in $2,500 each for licensing, business ownership, insurance, taxes, tax filing, and $5,000 gave us actually 1.5 years of runway. And by I think our first deal, we already had like 10 in the back, gross income already, and that was our first 12 months.
Yeah.
So we put in 5, got out 10. That was like, whoa, this is worth it. And by the way, in that 10, we already had expenses that we paid for the business. So we had to put in no more dollars in this business. And this business is catered for everything, including the event to it. Yeah, it was wonderful to kind of watch your baby grow and watch it into this. But it's a painful process. Not the week of heart.
And it requires a lot of patience.
Yeah.
You need to have patience if you want to run a business. You cannot get frustrated for every little thing. And you are going to have panic attacks. Trust me, she has them. Yes. Oh my God, when is our next check coming? How are we going to make more money? I'm like, chill. Yeah. It is going to happen. Don't worry. You got this.
I have a fix for that. Now I YouTube mindset, meditation.
There you go. There you go.
It's a wellness thing for women, especially positivity, mindset.
Yeah.
I started lifting again. That's helping. So
go box, man. Go spar with someone. Get all your frustrations out that way. Don't mess up your business.
Oh, I love this advice. Go box. Go do some boxing.
First 6 years of our business, I think on the second year, I took boxing classes and I would get into the ring and I would literally hit that guy hard. And he's like, who the hell are you mad at? I'm like, you don't want to know. Just put your hands up.
I would definitely say that because we're in financial services and because we're doing something that's never been done before, something that was very unique is that our product sale from the year 1 is nothing like the product that we sell on our year 6. And we already know that by the time we're in year 10, our products will be completely different.
We have evolved every single year from the time we opened up our business.
And everyone that has trusted us so long has just come along for the ride and they just get the benefit of it all.
They got a lot of free information from us.
Because it's a learning process, right? So those are
a lot.
But look at this, right? We got case studies.
Oh yeah.
We got like, a lot of data, right?
And we actually built relationships where a lot of the families have came back every single year for transactions with us.
Yeah, it's been cool.
Nice.
Yeah, fun process.
Nice.
I would even say, like, if you like just one thing, as a woman that's in this interesting space where you have so much wealth and you are also thinking about how do I get that transparent view, I would encourage all these women to get some financial license. Why not? They're easy to get.
Even if you're not going to utilize it, get a license.
Because
the knowledge itself is 100 times worth what the business might
100%. 100%. And just utilizing your own money like that, you're going to feel so empowered. You're not only licensed, you know exactly how that transaction goes.
And you won't get duped by people. Trust me, I've seen so many people get duped. It's not even funny.
Seriously, like that one guy. This guy was sold like $2 million life insurance, but he had like 50 policies. I was like, what the hell? Like the concept didn't even settle. He had so many policies, but only $2 million in life insurance. I was like,
and he was paying through the nose for these policies.
He didn't even have a home.
No, nothing.
It's just like, who sold you this? Right. And I feel so bad for this guy because he's in trouble.
And he's a foreigner too. And he's an immigrant. And he did not understand the concept. The agent did not explain it properly. He told him, I have the same exact thing. You should do it too. So he said, okay, let's do this. And he ended up with several policies that he did not even need.
I think having a license, especially an insurance license, it's really easy. Don't get intimidated. It's really easy to pass. In most states, it's very, very, very easy to pass. And if you need more information on that, we can always help you.
Yeah. That's fascinating. That's great advice.
We actually are thinking about a mastermind group where we're not launching the details yet, but we're thinking of this quiet group where we can attract people that we can help grow in the first 12 months. That's it. You're never going to meet anybody again. That's going to include all these licensing, all these strategies. You have to be able to see transparently through what's being sold to you. That's what's our core mission. So licensing is a great. In fact, even if you're a business owner, if you get one of those licenses, I promise you it's going to pay for itself.
Oh, this has been such a fascinating conversation. You are both just wealth of knowledge. It's been so fun to just listen to you. I haven't even talked much at all. Like, I love that you guys are sharing. Just go.
Give us the platform. We will talk and talk and talk. It's a big yes.
It's not a problem at all. I have enjoyed every minute of it. So as we wrap up though, so the third pillar of the Quiet Wealth podcast is about leaving a legacy. So what would you say is the legacy that each of you are trying to leave right now?
So we have a few legacies that we want to leave, actually. One legacy is we want to build orphanages. We want to help women, obviously. That's a big thing for us. We want to educate them from when they're young all the way till they're ready to get into a job and help educate them all the way through, get them licensed, and either work with us or have them start their own business. But we want to help the full process.
Absolutely.
And that goes same thing with the orphanages. We want to take care of those kids until they actually are on their own feet. We will not let them out of the orphanage until they're ready to go.
Yeah, like what I'm noticing is that money is, by the way, US, again, I'm a data girl, right? You can tell. In the US, we have the highest number of givers, actually donors in the world.
And that was discussed at the event as well.
It's crazy.
And we didn't know that.
Yeah, Mana taught us that.
Yeah.
Right? So, and we learned that and we're like, no way. So we want to redirect. So for legacy, I would say is the redirection of money and power. I feel like more good people need the confidence that they can handle the power. And so that's what's happening to all these women. They're getting power and they don't know what to
do with it.
It's like becoming a superhero overnight and not knowing how to use
Spider-Man, right? You got bit by a spider. All of a sudden you have all this super strength and you don't know what the hell happened to you and why you have it.
And this is why we can go on all day, right? I don't know how but it works.
Like it works. Like you got bit and the next thing
I love it. I love the analogy. That is so
The other
fantastic.
legacy that we want to leave is obviously for our children. We want to secure them. We want to make sure that they follow their own path, but they also have an avenue through what we've created for them. And they continue our legacy of donating, giving back to society, and still helping all those other kids that are not getting the attention that they are receiving. So definitely want that for our kids.
This is a huge part of our life.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And we will do anything and everything to actually help somebody build their legacy. So
This has been so amazing. So what if our listener wants to get a hold of you and is interested in your services, what's the best way for them to do that?
They can either go to our website, which is www.corefamilyoffice.com. They can email us at info@corefamilyoffice.com, or they can call us. And usually everyone calls my numbers, but I'm not giving that out.
we try to be available in every social media platform. So if you
You can
just
go
put
anywhere.
just put in core, like the central, the most important part, like CORE,
Mhm.
and that would be Core Family Office. It should pop up on Google.
We're on TikTok, we're on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, you name
And
it.
that's Threads.
Threads. The next
What's
part.
Oh.
but I
So we're on every single platform that you can think of, and you can reach us in any way whatsoever. Our phone number is on the website.
Yeah.
You can chat with us on our
very
website.
transparent.
And if you text me, I will answer. Trust me.
Well, thank you so much. Really appreciate you. And to our listener, thank you so much for joining us today. Really appreciate you being here at the episode. Please share this episode with a woman that you love so that we can continue to share this education so we can share the wealth. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.